Hey everybody, what's going on? Your host LovelyCheesePizza here. Welcome back to Let's Play some more Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't think that downtown Salem at night by yourself is a very safe thing to do anymore. And we'll talk about this here in a minute as we're moving along to go take care of this little mini sub deal, which let me check my messages real quick because there was something about that I needed to look into. I can't remember specifically. We had a message from Wade here. So he needs a sub down at the docks. Okay, so we just need to go down there and we'll check that out. So here's the thing. I went downtown earlier with Matt and Cheeska, and they wanted me to meet up with them and have a beer or two. And so I get down there, and the events that take place between here and the end of my story go over the span of about 2.5 to 3 hours, keep in mind. So I get down there to a bar called Craftworks at about, probably about 10 o'clock. And, we're chilling, having a beer or whatever, and we decide to go outside because the bar we're at lets us take your drinks outside as long as you're sitting at the tables or whatever. So we're sitting out there hanging out, and then so Matt starts telling me about this story about they were down there just last night, and they were leaving, and there was a weird guy outside that was acting kind of erratically, and he walked up to him and asked him if they had any cigarettes, and they don't smoke, and so he was like, no, I don't have one, and they started talking a little bit, and this guy was talking about how he used to live in Chicago. And how he totally got away with murder. Like, he had actually killed, a couple of people and totally gotten away with it. Like, he was, nobody ever found out about it. And he's just sitting there telling Matt and Cheeska about this. Really strangely. And then, so, after a little bit of time, they just decided, hey, you know what? This is not a good idea to talk to this guy. Maybe we should leave. And so they jump in, they go and jump in the truck and they go and drive away. And this is where things start to get weird. So about, they go and drive about 5 blocks, heading towards South Salem to go back to their house, and they pull up at the stoplight, and like 4 or 5 blocks away from where they are at, this guy is all of a sudden just over in this other area, and he totally has a cigarette now, and he's leaning up against like a light post smoking the cigarette, which for him to be able to beat them to that location, among other things, is virtually impossible in that amount of time, considering that he was on foot and they were in a car, and they didn't hit red lights until that point. Like, that guy would have had to have been running at least about 20 miles an hour, which is almost physically impossible unless you're a world-class runner. So he meets up with him over there, and he's just sitting there smoking a cigarette, and he just all of a sudden looks over at them, realized that it was the people he was talking to earlier, and he does this fucking creepy ass thing where he looks over at them and he does like he does like a straight point at Matt, and then does like the slitting the throat motion with his thumb, and like just looks at him, just this dead frickin' stare, just super creepy as all fucking get out, just does this dead stare at him. Why did they have me do that? Why would they not have kept me on the freeway? I was on the same thing. Oh, well, whatever. And so they were just like, what the fuck? It was super creepy, and so they just hit the gas and drove away as soon as the light turned green. So we go down there tonight, and we're outside, we're drinking our beer, and, we saw one guy walk by that we thought was him, and it wasn't. And they're, telling me the story. And then about 10 minutes later, we're sitting there getting ready to go back inside when that same guy approaches where we were at. We were the only ones outside at that point. And we're kind of getting ready to go back inside, and all of a sudden, they both look at me like, dude, that's the fucking guy. That's the guy that did the thing last night. And so now all 3 of us are all super tense. And we're like, okay, we should go inside. So we get up and we go inside. And, we start to go inside, and this guy, like, walks right by us, makes eye contact with all 3 of us, and walks by. and he gets over like about 20 feet away from us, and then all of a sudden he stops and turns around. He starts walking back, and he's like mumbling to himself. And Cheeska and I walk right by him. We get to the door, but he walks by Matt and walks right by him and stops and turns around again. And everything just starts getting really, really uncomfortable from there. Like, he stops and looks in the window, and he's just like, "Fucking piece of shit." And he just like stops about 10 feet away from the door, and just stops and turns and stays there as we walk inside. And we're all just kind of creeped out because, like, who would have expected to have seen that dude just pull up out of nowhere, you know, and all of a sudden, and kind of like recognize that we were there, and then just totally stay there. Okay, so we need to cut the cords. Can I, like... Oh, wait, no, there's a little blip here. And so we go back inside, and we're kind of, you know, we're kind of creeped out a little bit from, you know, the events that took place, naturally. I think that's not a strange response to have from something like that. What's the red blip? Oh, shit, okay, there's a guy here. Well... Yeah, you're damn right. Oh, no, you don't! Oh, no. No, don't get the cops down here. Oh, okay. Yep, we gotta go. We gotta go. Oh, no. Yep, we're gonna release this thing. Now that we've got the heat on us, we should probably do that. Hey, all right. We've got ourselves a good old-fashioned Submariner water vehicle here. So we should probably get down in here like... Whoa! Shit. I forgot, he just straight up just dives in there. Not quite what I was expecting. We should probably surface. Come on, Trevor. I know swimming's not really your forte, man. Dude, get up. Thank you. Okay, here we go. And so we're inside talking for a while. We go back in and we grab a couple of beers, and we're, you know, playing like some drinking games that we made up out of nowhere involving the Back to the Future the Back to the Future card game, which I did not know was a thing. Come on, get in there. Attaboy. Oh shit. Dude, how am I supposed to... Alright. Well, I mean, this would be a fairly easy way to lose the cops if we're in a fucking submarine. I mean, what are they going to be able to do? Just shoot down in the water down here? I don't think that's going to work too well for them. Okay, so square to go up and X to go down, huh? Well, I mean, if we stay down here long enough, we'll totally lose them. I guess that'll give me time to finish up the story. So... yeah, so we're playing, you know, these drinking games, and we're playing, like, big, you know, Buck Hunter HD or whatever, which I found out that I am not very good at. And about an hour to an hour and a half goes by, you know, after we're playing, you know, foosball and stuff, and we decide, hey, you know, we gotta go stop by the office, which is a block away in this, you know, adjacent building. And so, where the hell is this extraction point? It's over here, okay. We can do that.
That submarine we talked about. You gotta help me store it for a few days. Floyd, don't go quiet on me or I'll come around and I'll... well, we both know what I'm talking about.
Okay, alright. Bring it around to Pier 400 at the Western Docks.
On my way.
Look, I'll have a truck to bring you around the warehouse.
What's this? The union man doing an honest day's work?
There's nothing honest about this, sir. This is a dishonest day's work, if ever I've seen one.
Hey, we're not hurting anyone.
Not yet.
But no one except whoever owns that submarine and the mercenary folks on the freighter.
Do some research on Merryweather Security Consulting, friend. They'd be on trial for human rights offenses if the U.S. government didn't protect all its contractors from any kind of suit, military or civilian. They're immune from prosecution, and they behave like they are. Murdering, stealing, high on power guns and anabolic steroids. Lucky bastards.
Look, I don't know about that stuff.
Oh, you're right. You don't. Merryweather are employed by the richest, greediest scum on the planet to shit on the poorest and the neediest. So we are going to enjoy shitting on them.
Oh, great. Well, look forward to that.
Okay, well that's more like it.
So, well, I just wanted to let that dialogue run through. So, anywho, okay, we need to go past this thing too. So, anywho, so I'm getting down towards like the last half of my beer or so, and we decide, hey, let's, you know, I wonder if that guy's still out there. And so we had Cheese could go outside, and over almost 2 hours have passed since this point, and that guy is still sitting 10 feet outside the door, just seemingly waiting for us to leave. Like he's not conversing with any of the other people that are outside, because there were probably about, you know, about 8 to 10 people outside. He's not conversing with any of them. He's not making eye contact with them. He's just kind of sitting in like a weird crouched position, like 10 feet outside the door, like every once in a while kind of like hyping himself up, you know, like looking in the window of this, you know, closed building next to us and like pumping his chest, you know, pumping his fist up against his chest and like saying things to himself. And then he'll kind of like walk around in a circle briefly, and then he'll just go and sit back in his spot again. And then every once in a while he'll get up, and then he leaves the area and walks 1 block down away to the entrance to the other building that we were going to, and would just stay there for an undetermined amount of time. And then he'd come back down to the same area again where we were at the bar, and just stop in the exact same place. And so we're sitting here like, what the fuck, man? It's like he knows that we're here, and he knows, you know, that we're trying to leave, and he just like wants to wait for us. And I don't want to know what it is that he thinks he's going to try to do.
All right.
It was so creepy. And so we're sitting here like trying to devise a plan, just on the off chance that, you know, upon, you know, making contact with us, that he wanted to try to do something maybe. And so we decided, hey, as soon as we get out of here, I'm going to go across the street to my car, because he doesn't know my face. And I'll just pull up and pick you guys up, and we'll drive around the corner, around to the back, and go to the office so that he won't see us. And we just kept on trying to like devise this strategy to get out there. And he ended up walking down a block away again, so we decided to all walk over towards my car, so because that's where his truck was at too. And we saw the cops end up stopping this guy, and we're like, oh, sick, they're gonna get him for, you know, fucking menacing or whatever it is that's going on. You know, he's obviously making a number of people uncomfortable, and people finally called it in, and they stopped him, and we sat there across the street and just watched him to see what they were going to do, and they never did anything, and I will never figure out why they didn't do that. I'll never be able to figure out why they didn't get that guy for anything, because he had to have been strung out on drugs or something. Like, for a guy to be hanging around in the same area and just acting so weirdly erratic like that. Maybe not drugs, or maybe not beer, he may not have been drunk, but he had to have been on some kind of drug, man. The whole thing was so bizarre and strange.
Comes with it.
I didn't turn anyone on to anything. You threatened and cajoled and tricked me.
You don't want to cut? Just walk away.
I can't walk away. You're robbing my workplace and running the show from my home.
Deborah's home. No cut for you, no cut for Deborah.
So the last part of this that's also exceptionally strange was, so after the cops talked to him and they let him off the hook, he walks back down past the bar we were at and goes and sits on a park bench. And I decided to walk down the street over to the office that we were going to make sure that the coast was clear so that I could signal them to come in. And so we do that, and they took, you know, the back way and came in the back. We went up to his office for about a half hour to 40 minutes. And so when they left, oh, okay. Is this mission all done? It'd be kind of cool if it was. I don't really know what to do after this point here. Let's see if there's another vehicle nearby that I can take for my benefit here. It looks like there's a couple of them right over here. Cool. Mini sub. Awesome. Well done. Autosave menu. That's just fine and dandy. So we go up in this office. And Matt had to, you know, deal with a couple of things in there. And when they left, they went out the back. And I had to go out the front of the building where this guy had been kind of hanging out. And I was like, dude, there's no way this guy would be out here. There's no possible way that would be a thing. I was like, but just in case, I'm gonna be, you know, I'm gonna be just kind of, I'm gonna get myself kind of hyped up and in the zone and ready just in case, you know, because he knows that I was with them. Like, he's seen my face now, and so, you know, with his weird keen ability to identify stuff, I had to at least be on my toes, because you never do. People like that are very unpredictable. You never know what they can do, and so, oh god, our other heist thing is all the way over here. I mean, I could drive that, but that seems abnormally far away. What else is there? What is this? A triathlon? That wouldn't be for Trevor. That'd have to be for probably Michael, because he's probably got the cardio to handle it. Let's see. What else is there? That's going to be a sea race. I'm not going to deal with that. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's probably like a plane we can take to get out here, but let's at least queue up this thing here. The off-road truck race. It would be a cool thing to do. Well, I mean, we're not going to do it. We're probably not going to do it right now because we're already at 15 minutes. By the time we get anywhere near that, we'll probably call it good for the evening, because it's almost 2 in the morning and I've got to go to sleep to open the store in the morning. But we'll finish up this story. And so I'm thinking, you know, I got to get myself in the zone just in case, you know, I have to get ready to defend myself, because you never know what people like that can do. And I mean, there's people out here, but, you know, that never stops a guy that has supposedly killed people. Obviously, his regard for human life is at an all-time low. And I mean, what does he have to lose if he's somewhere completely away from, obviously, his, you know, maybe his home or whatever, if Chicago was where he was originally from. And so I open up the door thinking, you know, I'm going to open up the door and I'm going to just kind of make a hard left and, you know, just make a break for my car. I open up the door. And I look straight across the street, and I shit you not, that guy was standing directly across the street, just staring at the building. Like, and like the only thing that I could think of is that he was staring at the building, and he knew that one of the three of us was going to come out of that building. I don't know. Wait, what's up with these people? Holy crap! Oh my god! Who busted out the gat? What the hell? What the shit? I didn't realize that I hit like a gang kingpin or something, and just like incited the madness of Zeus. Jeez, man, that was crazy. Well, we're a lot closer to the middle of town now. What is this? This wasn't here before. Nigel. Oh, that's the guy with the celebrity bullshit stuff everywhere. Okay, that's interesting. We won't deal with that right now, though. We'll you know, acquire another car and keep driving. So the creepy part was I pulled up, you know, I walk out the door, and I shit you not, this guy is standing directly across the entrance from that building, and he's just staring straight ahead right at the entrance. Hey-yo! He's like, what the fuck was that all about, man? Well, I don't really feel safe at this entrance anymore. Oh! Oh, no. Oh, I didn't knock him out? Hey, there we go. Trip him. There we go. And there we go. Hey, sometimes you gotta step on a man's ass, you know? He may not have deserved it. He most certainly didn't deserve it. But every once in a while, you gotta step on a man's ass. Oh, come on. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, that's not good. And we're driving away from our destination. That's not gonna help. Holy... Dude, what is up with me, like, triggering the wrath of the gang lords right now? Like, why are all these dudes all of a sudden on my ass? Like, I didn't realize that I accidentally punched out, you know, Big Gats McGee over there at the bus station, and now everybody wants to have a piece of the old Trepmeister here. But yeah, so I saw him there, and like, we stopped and made eye contact for a solid 3 seconds. He didn't do like any weird gestures at me like he did with Matt, but it was still really uncomfortable. Like, he looked at me, and he just had just like this incredible, just almost like an otherworldly, just blank stare. Like, he knew exactly what he was looking at, but it was just like this cold, empty stare. and I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't know whether I should walk towards my car, you know, just so I could get away from it, or to walk away from it to lure him away from that area, as, you know, just because I didn't want him to necessarily follow me straight to my own vehicle. But I started kind of like leaning towards walking towards my car, and as soon as I started walking that way, he turned and walked the opposite direction. And so I was like, oh god. And as soon as I noticed that, you know, he wasn't, like, he didn't make eye contact with me, and he wasn't, like, you know, taking a couple of steps and then turning and going back my way, I literally just made a break for my car. Like, I went on a dead sprint over to my car, got in, turned the thing on, and just got the hell out of there. Like, it was such a weird, uncomfortable moment, you know? Like, I've been in downtown Salem a million times late at night, and I've never had a weird experience like that. Well, I've had a weird experience, but it wasn't when I was by myself. You know, I've had experiences where I was with Matt where we got to witness weird stuff with police or whatever, but I've never had a strange moment like that where I felt like genuinely uncomfortable about my own safety. And it's been weird because there's been more and more things happening like that in this area since there's been like a weird influx of homeless people. Because apparently there's like such a large overage of them in like the Seattle area and the Portland area and in certain parts of California that they are literally like they're like transporting homeless people by like the bus loads up to parts of Oregon, Salem being one of them, and they're just dropping them off and letting them be homeless here instead of being homeless there, in their respective places where they were at. And so now there's just like this crazy high amount of them here in Salem, and there's just weird, like, fucking menacing people like that guy here now. And man, I tell you, if you live in a large city and you're downtown at night, don't be by yourself. Like, I mean, Salem particularly isn't exactly like this booming metropolis per se, but it is not a place that I would want to be at by myself. I can just tell you that right the fuck away. It was a very strange moment, and I'm glad that I lived through it. And it'd be so bizarre if I go down there again soon and I end up encountering that guy somehow. Like, I'm almost like kind of weary about going down there now. So it's kind of a strange thing. But hey guys, we're going to stop right here. When we come back on the next installment of Let's Play Grand Theft Auto 5, what we're going to do is there's kind of like a little triple threat thing here that we can do. We're going to do an off-road race just because we haven't done that in a couple episodes, and I just am kind of in the mood for another racing thing. We also have a rampage that we can do, and those are always fun. And then we'll also have another important heist setup thing to do with the cargo bob there. So I think it's kind of a nice little thing that we can do 3 in a row and get a lot of stuff done all in one, cool little motion. So until then, my friends, this is your host, Lovely Cheese Pizza, saying thank you guys for watching. I'm still alive. I survived whatever the fuck that whole thing was. And I will see you guys next time. So take care, everybody. Bye.